You can only have the conference style, the two facing rear seats, if you have the 6-seat version. And it will be interesting, only time will tell whether people prefer having 6 seats that you can turn the ones around to, or have 7 seats. Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about the new Multivan. The vehicle's been released for ordering, so you can actually order the new Multivan now. But I thought today we'd just have a quick run through what's available now to order, as we've done with our California and things like that as well. A lot of you that watch this channel are not just interested in the California, but interested in what commercial vehicles and what new products are coming up as well. So I thought we'd run you through the specs, the different models that's there. And then obviously once one of these vehicles actually arrives with us, then we can have an in-depth review and have a look at it as well. So ordering opened a little bit earlier in Europe for the vehicles, it's there as well. They have a different model range in Europe. They've got the same name, which just causes a bit of confusion because what you get as standard with those things is actually different than it is in the UK market, and it's probably different as well if you're in a different market around the world somewhere else as well. So in our case, the Volkswagen UK decide on what specifications they want for the vehicles that come out as standard as well. But we're going to have a quick chat about that. I'll talk you through the different lineups. So let's get into it. So the first big thing I suppose with the Multivan is it's available as a plug-in hybrid. So PHEV, plug-in hybrid. So basically it's got a smaller electric battery, smaller than a pure electric vehicle, because it's a combination of that and the petrol engine, which makes it up. So it's got two. So we've got the electric motor and the petrol vehicle, which they work in tandem together. So when you're driving, for example, you can have it on so that they're around town, for example, you might be using the electric one at lower speeds, and then obviously the petrol engine will kick in, or you can have it purely on electric and just let it drive on the electric basically coming back, and then you've got charging that's on there as well, so you can plug it in at home, plug it in a wall socket, for example, charge that battery up. But you can actually charge it while you're driving as well, which is quite clever. So you can actually tell it, for example, as you're driving, if you're on a motorway, to charge the battery up as you're driving along as well, so that when you're in a city centre, for example, you can have it purely on electric. Now, as far as that side is concerned, the e-hybrid side, we are going to do a lot more videos on that and explain to you how it works, because this is something that's going to be with commercial vehicles going forward, using the technology for battery power and electric as well. But we're going to do all that when we actually physically have a vehicle that's here, so we can show you actually how it works, where you plug it in, what kind of range to expect that's in there, the size of the battery, all those good things we'll get into once the vehicle actually arrives, and we can actually show you in real life as well and show you what it's like. But it's a big step forward that it's got there. I'm going to go through the model lineup as well so you can see. So at launch there is currently just the petrol versions available. There is a diesel, 150 PS diesel model coming. That's expected around April time. We have no pricing or anything for that model as yet. So currently at launch we have two petrol versions available. One is an e-hybrid, which is the 1.4 TSI engine, or the 1.5 TSI engine, which is a non-hybrid vehicle, which is just a standard petrol vehicle. So the 1.5 TSI is 136 PS output, where the hybrid is 218. And I've driven this vehicle. It is quick for the size of vehicle that it is. It is quite an impressive setup between the two. And at the beginning of the video we talked about the different model lineups. So here in the UK, the model lineup is, we have the Life, which is the entry-level model, and then we move on to the Style. And then we have a special edition, and this special edition, or a limited time model, I think is how it's described, which is available in Europe and here as well, the Energetik. And that kind of sits very, very close to the Style in the way I look at it. It's based on the Life with additional bits on it, so it kind of sits in between the two, but it's got a few things standard above the Style one. So any of you that are used to the Volkswagen lineup, for example, you might have heard of things like Edition 1s before, which have come out on new vehicles as they've been launched. It's that type of thing. So it's a limited edition, a limited run, special edition with a few extras on them, and we'll talk about that this in there. That's called the Energetik model as well. But the two primary ones, it says, is Life and Style. Anybody in the Volkswagen range will know those names have come across as well. For our European friends, for example, that's over there as well, there is an additional vehicle. There is just the Multivan, which is the entry-level model in Europe. But as I was trying to explain, that the standard vehicle specification, it's very difficult to look at different markets. You need to look at your own particular, where you buy your vehicle from. Grab out a brochure, like this. They're all online. You can get them as PDFs, etc. That's in there as well, for wherever you're based, and actually have a look at the specifications. Because in Europe, it tends to be you get a base specification and you add all your extras in. Where here in the UK, for example, the Style has got a really, really good level of specification as standard, and thus so it's actually very, very similar price to the Energetik. And then finally, there is a standard variation of this vehicle, and there is a long variation. Now, for most of us, we're used to saying short wheelbase, long wheelbase, but this isn't actually a wheelbase. So the wheelbase is exactly the same on both models. Basically, the long is just a bit extra at the back. And that bit extra is 200 millimeters, which is probably somewhere like that. Forgive me if that's wrong, but it's about that kind of distance. Obviously, that will make quite a big difference inside. Obviously, once we get the vehicles, we'll try and get two the same, get them next to each other, and actually show you what the differences that are there. I'd love to know, anybody's looked at photos and bits and pieces on them, which do you think looks better? Big discussion going on with us here at the moment. Is it the short? Is it the long wheelbase? Do you think, which one do you think we'll do more of that's in there? I'm not going to make any comment between the two. I've got my own favourite, I think, at the moment, but we'll see how that goes out. There is a price difference between them, so it's £1,350 additional for the long version, which doesn't seem that much. Let you decide whether you think it is or isn't. Let's just quickly talk about the overall size of the vehicle. So the vehicle's height is 1.9 metres. To give you a comparison between that, the 6.1 is about 1.98 metres. Well, one clever thing they have, and this is an option apart from the Energetik where it comes as standard, is the panoramic roof. This is I think it's a game changer on these. It's lovely. I've sat in the vehicle with the panoramic roof. I think it's really, really good. The light that it lets in as well, that's on there, just gives a completely different feel to the cockpit. But one thing it does do is, because you've got that glass that's up there, it actually, your head height, you've got really, really good height in the vehicle. So in actual fact, you're sitting in the rear of the vehicle. It doesn't feel any smaller in height and volume of the vehicle than what it does actually in the current 6.1 Caravan. And then overall lengthwise, so we've got 4.97 metres in the smaller version, and the long version goes to 5.17 metres, so as I said, 0.2 of a metre difference between those two lengths. And then finally today, I'm just going to talk you very briefly through the product lineup as far as those different models are concerned. We're not going to go through what you can order factory ordering like we have done in the past. We will do that. We'll do that as a separate video. But today was more about just telling you about the basic features of what they've got as well. So as standard on these vehicles, they come with 7 seats. That's quite an important thing to mention that's in there as well. So if you're used to Caravel had 7 seats. In the rear, you've got 3 seats, all individual, all 7 seats are individual seats on the new Multivan, which is great. So you have 3 individual seats on the back row, and then the next one up you've got 2 individual seats, and then obviously your driver and passenger seat at the front gives you the 7. Now there is an option from factory option to reduce those numbers to 6 seats instead, which removes one of the seats in the rear. And the idea between that is when you do remove that, you can actually have them in conference style. So if you have the 6-seat version of the vehicle, the 2 seats which are in like the second row can be turned around and facing backwards. So it's very important to mention this, because Caravel was different to this. So Caravel, you could have conference style with all 7 seats. With the Multivan you can't. You can only have the conference style, the 2 facing rear seats, if you have the 6-seat version. And it will be interesting. Only time will tell whether people prefer having 6 seats that you can turn the ones around to, or have 7 seats. I suspect everybody will go for the 7 seats. I'll put that out there now. That's where I think it'll probably go. But as I said, the option is there if you want to have it more like the Caravel, to bring it round the other way. And the reason for my thinking that's on this as well is this Multivan is a new one. So hopefully all you Caravel owners out there are going to love what's been upgraded and what you can get on the new Multivan. It's there. But then also there's a lot of people out there that maybe run a smaller 7-seater. So I'll give you an example, like the Volkswagen Charan. For example, if you've had a Charan in the past, or if you've had a Touran in the past, they've got those 7-seat ones as well. I think you'll really love what the Multivan has to offer that's in that market. So because it does appear as a slightly smaller vehicle, and it kind of bridges that gap between the bigger and the smaller, but gives you those fully functional 7 seats that's in the vehicle. It'd be really nice on the 2 back seats. You can fold the middle one down and use it as an armrest with cup cup holders in there. And you also as well get that famous table. It's been redesigned now that you had on the Caravelle, which moves up and down, and it even moves into the front cab, which is a game changer I think as well. So you can actually have it in between the two front seats. But as I said before, all those type of things really we're going to show you when we get the vehicle, because this type of vehicle, you need to be able to see it, I think, to really appreciate how all these things work together, what you can and can't do with the seating combinations as well. But it says, so it's 7-seater as standard, with the option to have it as a 6-seater, but those seats that turn round. And finally on the seating as well, is you can remove all of the rear seats. So if you've got 5 seats in the rear, they can all come out. They're all manageable. Anybody who's got a Caravelle ever tried to take that third bench seat out? We have once or twice. It took a lot of us to get it out. But with these, it's nice and easy. It's a very, very quick, simple process. Click in, click out, and you can take those seats out if you don't need them as well. So in the Life model, you get a really, really good standard specification for the vehicle. So you've got things like standard LED lights all round on the vehicle, which I think is a really, real big improvement that's on the vehicle. You've got a 10-inch display screen, got alloy wheels, fog lights, etc. So we're going to do a separate video on exactly what you get, but it's a really, really good level of trim on the Life product that's on there. If you're moving up to the Style variation that's in there, so you're going to get things like ambient lighting, you get the Art Velour seating, which is a combination of the suede material in the middle with the leather look on the outside. Climatronic, you've got digital cockpit. You do have a digital cockpit in the standard version, but this is the Pro version which you get in the Style. 17-inch alloys compared to 16. Navigation system is standard. Your electric doors that's on the vehicle, and this is a really good one as well, is because you can just wave your foot underneath and the door opens, as it does with the tailgate as well. Again, we're going to need a vehicle here to show you how these things work. Heated windscreen, heated steering wheel as standard. We've got keyless entry, and finally as well is we've actually got windows in the side doors. Now, as you know probably from the Caravelle, and you've got Caravelles that's in there as well, that's something that's come and gone on different times been, but that is something. So you've no windows in the side sliding doors on the Life, and on the Style you do get those sliding doors. Now price always comes into it, so if you're going from a Life to a Style on the petrol variations, and these are slightly different because the petrol outputs are different as well actually, because it's the 204 PS petrol on the Style, where on the Life it's the 136 PS, so you're gaining a lot more power. But just as a setup, it's just under £15,000 to move from that Life to the Style purely on the petrol variations. Now if you're looking at the hybrid, which is the easy one to compare between the two, because the hybrid model is the same engine in both, the price difference then is about £10,200 between them. But it'll be very interesting to see where the diesel pricing comes out and what happens with the diesel version of that, because I personally think that'll be quite a big seller in the Life variation, I think, when the diesel one hits, but we'll have to see when that comes out in April time. That's there. I suspect the biggest seller for us will definitely be the Style. I think you get so much with that Style for the money that's there as well, and when you look at things like residual values in 3 years time, and obviously a lot of people buy them on a personal contract purchase which uses a residual value, I think the Style will be the big one that everybody buys. And then finally we've got the Energetik. So the Energetik is based on the Life with extras added to it, but to give you an idea, it's pretty much the same. It's £480 more expensive than the Style, so it just sits slightly above the Style on pricing, and with those extra bits that you get in there, so panoramic roof for example, you get in as standard in there. You get the Harman Kardon sound system, which is in there, so you're getting that as an upgrade. The Area View 360, which uses your parking sensors. So you get parking sensors on the Style model, but this gives you an overview over the top of the vehicle, so it kind of gives you a 360 view that's there. And then finally you get 18-inch alloy wheels. And that might sound great, but what you have to remember is you're not getting all the standard equipment that you would do on a Style. So please, if you're looking to order one very soon, make sure you have a look through the brochures, or pop some comments box below as well, because there are things that you won't then get that you'll have to add to the Energetik to get similar kind of specification as the Style. To give you one example of that, for example, is the interior. So the interior in the Energetik is the interior which you get on the Life model, and if you want to upgrade to the Style, which I said is the Art Velour with the trim in the middle, with the suede in the middle, or to leather, obviously you'll have to pay more for that, which obviously then will increase the price of the vehicle. But the next video we do on this, I'm going to talk you through the different lineups about what extras you can get on different models, like we do with our California videos, that's there as well, and we'll go into a little bit more detail about what specific options you can get, and we'll give you some advice on what we think is the options to go for. So I hope you'd enjoyed that quick overview of the Multivan. As I said, it's available to order now, so you can order these vehicles. There's so much more information and so much more going on with these vehicles. There's lots of things we haven't gone into. You know, there's keyless entry that I mentioned about as well that's there. The list goes on and on and on, and these are all things that we're probably going to expect to see across the commercial range going forward. Obviously we've got things like the ID Buzz, which is coming up later on this year. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I said, any questions, comments, put them in the comments box below. If there's lots, we'll do a separate Q&A just on Multivan that's there. Check out a video coming up shortly. As I said, in a couple of weeks time we'll do another video and go through the options on the Multivan, and we'll look at the individual ones as well, and explain to you what they are, and we'll give you our tips of what we think are the ones to order. So if you have enjoyed today's video, give us a like, give us a thumbs up. If you don't subscribe, please subscribe, and we'll see you next time.